Relative clauses, Relativsätze. In today's video, I will show you the different German relative clauses, Relativsätze, because you can start relative clauses with relative pronouns, but also with other words like wo and was. So let's check it out. Hi, my name is Jan and I'm your German teacher here on EasyDeutsch, your YouTube channel for German grammar. Today's topic is Relativsätze, relative clauses. Relative clauses are subordinate clauses that give additional information to nouns and objects, entire situations in the sentence. So with the help of my ebook, German Grammar Explained Easily, I will show you now everything you have to know about German Relativsätze. So let's switch into my ebook. So we're here now in my ebook, German Grammar Explained Easily. Today's topic is relative clauses. So let's jump right to the topic here in my table of content, relative clauses. So let's zoom in. First question, what are relative clauses? Relative clauses always give an extra information without beginning a new sentence. They are, yes, subordinate clauses, so verb to the very end of the clause, and you have to surround them by commas. So you always separate them by commas, and they are introduced by some certain relative pronouns. Which pronouns those can be? Later on, let's first have a look at an example. Das ist der Mann, der einen Ferrari hat. So this is the man who has a Ferrari. Means the relative pronoun usually comes right after the noun it's referring to. Like here, we have an additional information to the man. So which man we are talking about? Yes, the man who owns a Ferrari. That particular man, not the other guy with the, I don't know, Toyota. So we are talking about the man with a Ferrari. Here we have this additional information in the relative clause. So which relative pronouns can actually introduce a relative clause? If you don't know yet what a relative pronoun is exactly, there is a separate video where I explain the different relative pronouns and also all the different declension, so the different endings and everything. I will not go too deep into this detail here right now, because there's a different video which is focusing on the declension and the different uses here of der, die, das, and welche. So that's linked now in the info cards for you. So first here, let's start with the default one. Here, the ones that just look like the articles. So the der, die, das, you know, from der Ferrari, die Frau, der Mann, das Haus, und so weiter. So here we have those exact same words as relative pronouns as well. Here we have it taken apart a little bit. Das ist der Mann, so that's the person or the thing, could be an object too. We're giving more information to, comma, then followed by the relative pronoun, then the rest and the verb at the very end. You can pretty much use those ones all the time if you give additional information to any kind of object or person, human being, something like this. And there are others as well. The most common one is wo. You have probably heard that one already. In some parts of southern Germany, this is used in a very wrong way. Usually it's only relating to places. So when we actually relating to a place, a location. In Western southern Germany, it's used pretty much anything that should be der, die, das, and so on. It's grammatically wrong. So if you do this in an exam, it will be wrong. Except maybe oral exam and you're actually living in that kind of area. But if you do this in Berlin, it will be marked as wrong. So let's have a look here. Gehen wir in das neue Restaurant. So do we go to the new restaurant? Dort gibt es Sushi. There they have sushi. Entirely correct sentence, but without a relative clause. just two main clauses followed by each other. Gehen wir in das neue Restaurant, in dem es Sushi gibt. Here, this is already a relative clause here. Do we go to the new restaurant in which they have sushi, word by word? Or gehen wir in das neue Restaurant, wo es Sushi gibt? So do we go to a new restaurant where they have sushi? So you can see you can do this in English as well. You can use where, wo, as a relative pronoun and then give the additional information to the restaurant. Those are all valid ways to actually give additional information. This one is the version with this one, because you actually have to add the preposition here in front if you're referring to something with a preposition. More about that in the video about relative pronouns. I will link it here for you again in the info cards. And if you use wo, you actually don't need this preposition here because it refers to the entire thing. It's already clear that we're talking about the location. And to be fair, in at least the informal language, this is the by far preferred version. This is okay, but it's a little bit unusual because it's like interruptive with this main clauses. This one sounds a little bit higher, so like higher German, but this is usually the way people are gonna say it in your day-to-day life. Instead of wo, we can also use was. Relative clauses with was, and relative clauses with was actually give additional information to demonstrative and indefinite pronouns. If you don't know what's a demonstrative pronoun, check out the info cards now. And if you don't know what's an indefinite pronoun, please check out the info cards now. There, the videos about those pronouns are linked for you. You can also use it when you want to give additional information to neuter, superlative, or something unspecified, like etwas, alles, or nichts, for example. Or if you want to give additional information about an entire clause, an entire situation, then we use was. So that pretty much translates to everything we don't know the gender, or that doesn't have a gender like this, or it has to be neutral, or a demonstrative pronoun, or an indefinite pronoun. Sounds complicated, but it isn't. So let's have a look at the different options. The neuter superlative, das ist das Beste, was ich jemals gemacht habe. So this is the best that I've ever done. So here is the superlative, so the highest form. It's probably the comparison of things. I linked the video for you here in the info cards as well. And there's the comparative and the superlative. Comparative is just like something is different. And superlative, it's unbeatable. Das ist das Beste, was ich jemals gemacht habe. But pay attention, it has to be neutral. So it's not if you say, das ist der Beste, den ich je gesehen habe. No was, because it's der Beste. So here it has to be the das. And indefinite pronouns, this is, for example, those kind of words here, they're unspecified. Der Mann sagt nichts, was von Bedeutung ist. So the man says nothing that matters. Here we don't know the gender, so obvious then was. Same with etwas. There's no gender. Ich sehe etwas, was du nicht siehst. So I see something that you don't see. If there's no gender, we use was. This is the common thing when we use was, if there is no gender. And that's also the case for an entire clause, because an entire clause doesn't have a gender, right? Spielt in der Wohnung Schlagzeug, was die Nachbarn stört. So he plays the drums in the apartment, which is annoying to the neighbors. Here we have the situation that he is playing the instrument inside the apartment. Playing the instrument inside the apartment is not a noun, therefore it doesn't have a gender. So here we use was. But if we actually include a preposition, have to include a preposition, which is possible if it's a different sentence, it's more common to do this with wo plus preposition. For example, hat mir geholfen, wofür ich ihm sehr dankbar bin. So he has helped me, very thankful to him for that. We could also say, hat mir geholfen, für was ich ihm sehr dankbar bin. It's grammatically correct, but it sounds a little bit uneducated if you do this. So it's perfectly possible and entirely correct, but it's more common to do it with this version. The R is only added if the preposition starts with a vowel, so A, E, I, O, or U. If not, like here, no R. More about this also in the relative pronouns video. Here I just want to add that in informal speech, instead of saying this, we would probably rather say, er hat mir geholfen, dafür bin ich ihm sehr dankbar. Both mean the exact same thing. He has helped me. For that, I'm very thankful. So, now you know all the secrets about German relative clauses. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comment section below. Also, it's a great support if you like my video and of course subscribe to my channel and maybe even share it with your friends. Thank you very much for this support. And then I hope I will see you again in one of my other lessons. And until then, viel Spaß und Erfolg beim Deutschlernen.